Right now. So welcome to our yoga class today. So let's all find a comfortable seat cross-legged on the top. You'll take a seat on the top of your mat, close to the top of your mat. And you want to ground into your sit bones with a long spine, hands by your side. And just so you can rest your eyes with a soft gaze forward and just start to breathe into your belly with a deep inhale in, filling up through your belly, up through your chest, and then exhaling out through nose or mouth. So we want to focus in on the present moment. Anything that happened today or yesterday or tomorrow, put that aside. So the focus in on your yoga practice is your breath and being present. That's what we strive for in yoga. Just keep long inhales, filling up completely, and then exhaling out. We'll take a few more rounds of breath in our meditation breath. Then we'll take one more deep inhale in, filling up completely. And then exhaling out completely. And then we'll open our eyes. And then we're going to start some neck rolls. So we'll roll our neck to the front from side to side. If you want more, you can do the full circle to the back. It's just depending on how your neck feels. It's one thing to be mindful is how you feel. Don't force movements or things that make you feel uncomfortable. And you can modify accordingly. You want to reverse your motion. And then we'll end up back to center with a tall spine, still grounded into our seat. So we're going to do some neck stretches like we did in the last class. So let's lift our right arm up tall. And then we'll take our right ear towards right shoulder, and then placing our right palm on the side of the left side of our head. And we'll put gentle pressure on the side of our head. So it's gentle push and pull. So we don't want to put too much pressure on our head. So you want to feel a stretch on the left side of our neck. This is a really nice stretch if you've been at a computer or reading a book or on your phone. And then we'll lift back up to center, releasing our arm. So let's lift our left arm up tall, and then placing our left ear towards left shoulder, and then placing the left palm on this right side of our head and doing the same stretch. So it's a gentle push and pull motion. And feeling the stretch on the right side of our neck. And then back to center, we'll release. And then from here, let's do shoulder rolls to the front. And then shoulder rolls towards the back. And then release. And then from here, let's take an inhale, sweep our arms up tall, and then exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, rise up tall. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, up tall. And then exhale, let's take a twist to the left. So our left hand is on our right leg, and then we're gazing over our right shoulder. And then inhale, rise up tall. Exhale, twist to the left. Gazing over our left shoulder. And then inhale, rise up tall. And then on our exhale, let's hinge at our hips, take a seated forward fold. Hands can be either on the mat or you can place them on blocks. Releasing our neck, feeling a stretch in our lower back. And then on our next inhale, we'll curl our spine up one vertebra at a time. Head comes last. And then our next move, we're going to take a wide straddle. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit because it seems like you can't see me in entirety. There we go. Okay, so I'll take a wide straddle. With our toes facing towards the ceiling, and then our knees are facing up as well. We're grounding our sit bones into the mat. We're still keeping that tall spine. So we're going to bring our arms to the front. It's like we're holding a beach ball. And then we're going to hinge forward, keeping that tall spine. So we're just basically shifting front to back. So pretend like you have a friend and they're doing the same thing. They have their feet against yours and you're just kind of playing a gentle tug of war with them when you're grabbing their hands. That's the best way to describe it. So you make sure your core is strong and you still have that tall spine. We'll do a couple more gentle motions. And then on your next inhale, back into center, release your arms, and let's bring our legs together. So we still have our toes are flexed and our feet are flexed, toes facing up. So we're gonna do a foot, like kind of a little foot stretch. So we're gonna open and close our feet like a book. So we're gonna bring the soles of our feet together and then back to center. We'll just keep doing that motion a couple times. It's kind of a little ankle stretch. And just keep with those gentle inhales and exhales. You do not want to forget your breath in yoga. We'll do one more and then back to center. So we still have our feet flexed. So we're going to point our right foot and then we'll do circles with our toes in one direction, any direction you like. And then reverse your circles. And then back to center. Now we're going to do the left foot. So point your left foot, circle any direction. And then we'll reverse your circle. And then back to center. So let's transition to our tabletop position. So you want to be on your hands and knees. So check in on your alignment. So you want to make sure your wrists are directly underneath your shoulders and your hips are directly, your knees are directly under your hips. Long spine from the crown of your head to your tailbone. So we're going to start our cat and cow flow series. So on our inhale, we'll drop our belly, head rises for cow pose. Exhale, spine curls up, head drops for cat pose. Inhale into cow pose. And just keep moving into this gentle spinal movement. You can add additional movements if you'd like. You can move side to side, do figure eights. Find what you'd like. And then on our next exhale, we'll find our way back into tabletop with a long spine. So from here, we're going to do a little kind of the same cat and cow movement, but adding a little bit more movement. So we'll start off in our tabletop. Exhale, spine curls up to cat, and then lower to child's pose. So we'll bring our hips down to our heels, arms extended. Inhale, rise up to tabletop and then cow. So it's like a gentle movement. Exhale into cat, lower into child's pose. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, up into tabletop to cow pose. And then exhale to cat into child's pose. So we'll stay in our child's pose. So we'll extend our arms long. You have the option here to bring your knees wide and your big toes to touch for a wide kneed child's pose. And you can rest your forehead onto the mat or onto a block. And just keep breathing. And then on our next inhale, we'll find our way back into tabletop. So in our tabletop position, we're going to do thread the needle. We did this in the last class. So on our inhale, we're going to sweep our right arm up tall, gazing at the ceiling. And then exhale, we'll sweep our right arm under, placing our right shoulder and the right side of your head on the mat. So your left arm can be at a 90-degree angle, or you can walk it forward or bind the arm behind you. It's just whatever feels best for you. That's the one thing I want to emphasize. You just be very aware of how your body feels. Don't force anything that is uncomfortable, and just do what your body needs. We'll take one more inhale in. Exhale out completely. And then slowly on your next inhale, unwind, sweeping that right arm up above. And then exhale, releasing back into tabletop. So we're going to do the other side. I'll switch positions. So in our tabletop positions, we'll, on our inhale, sweep our left arm up tall. Exhale, sweep our left arm under, placing the left side of our head on the mat and our left shoulder. And remember your options for your right arm. One option may not work for you on this side, and you can do a different variation if that's better for you. We'll take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out completely. So let's slowly unwind, sweeping our left arm up, and then releasing back into tabletop. Okay, from our tabletop position, we're going to find our way up. We're going to find our way back up into standing. So from our tabletop position, we'll tuck our toes under and then lift our hips up for our first downward facing dog of class. So check in. So the key thing to remember is that your fingers are wide. You're pressing into all 10 finger pads, and your feet are hip distance apart. Your knees can be bent as much as they need to. So the goal in your downward facing dog is to have a long spine from the crown of your head to your tailbone. So, and I did give this adjustment in the last class. So if you shift into the plank and see if you have to move your position, and then back up into downward facing dog. And you just continue to breathe, inhale and exhale. You can start to pedal your heels out like you're walking your dog. You can shake your head yes and no. I'll take one more inhale in, filling up. Exhaling out completely back into downward facing dog. And then from our downward facing dog, we'll tiptoe our way up to the top of the mat. Feet hip distance apart. Let's grab opposite elbows, relaxing our neck, keeping a gentle bend in our knees for our ragdoll position. You can sway side to side, front to back, loosening up the spine. Take one more inhale in, filling up completely, and then exhaling out, releasing your arms. And then on our next inhale, we'll curl our spine up one vertebra at a time. Head comes last. We'll find our way into our mountain pose. So remember, in our mountain pose, we want to make sure our feet are hip distance apart, palms facing forward, shoulders pulled down, tall spine. So we're going to start off with our sun salutation warm-ups that we did, or their half sun salutations. So on our inhale, we'll sweep our arms up tall to our high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at our hips. So we're swan diving down into a forward fold. Keeping a gentle bend. Left. So palms on your shins or up on your thighs. Keeping a tall spine from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, we're going to reverse swan dive up. So sweeping our arms up tall. High mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to do this a couple more times, moving it's breath to movement. Inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. High mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to add a downward facing dog. Inhale, high mountain pose. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat and feet step back into downward facing dog. So remember your alignment, make sure your feet are hip distance apart, hands about shoulder distance apart. And then on our next inhale, we'll inhale, right leg lifts to a three-legged dog. So you want to make sure it's just at hip level. We don't want to go too high on this one, since this is just a slow and gentle class. Right foot flexed. Exhale, right foot steps through to our runner's lunge. So in a runner's lunge, make sure your knee is right above your ankle. If you have blocks or books with you right now, this is a really great way to support your pose. I have my yoga blocks here. And making sure your left leg is extended behind you, hips are square facing forward. So on our next inhale, we're going to straighten our front leg, and our forehead is going towards our right shin. So this is our wide-legged pyramid pose. I like to use this in our flow classes, so this is a good introductory to it. And then exhale back into runner's lunge. Inhale to wide-legged pyramid. So just move with your breath at your own pace. We're in no rush. We'll do a couple more rounds. And then on our next exhale, stay in that runner's lunge. And then on our next inhale, we're gonna reach up into our crescent lunge. So it's a high lunge, so your legs are still like they're in that runner's lunge. So your arms are extended up tall. And just pretend that you're, again, holding a beach ball. That's a good way to describe it. And your hips are square, and the ball of your left foot is pressed to the mat, and pretend like you're in a high heel, and there's a high heel on your left foot, and you're lifting. Just keep with your breath. We're inhaling and exhale, slow, gentle breaths.
And then on our next exhale, we're going to pivot on that back foot. So our back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. And then our right leg still at about that 90-degree angle. So our tailbone is tucked under and our hips are basically going to be facing, it would be to your, I'm trying to imagine it in my head. So it'd be to your left side. And then you can tee out your arms, shoulders pulled down. You don't want to have shoulders up to your ears. And you're gazing over your right hand. So this is Warrior Two. You'll see this in your flow class as well. So a lot of these you'll see in our next class. Just maintain your breath, strong warrior pose. And then on our next inhale, we're going to reach forward, flip our right palm up, sweep our right arm above our head, and we're taking like a side stretch. So you're feeling a stretch in the right side of our body. So our left arm is either right by it, by our side, or you can bind it behind you. And our gaze is up, facing, looking at our right hand. So this is our reverse warrior pose. And then on our next exhale, we'll come back into our Warrior Two, and then we'll take that side bend on the other direction. So our right arm is on our inner right thigh, and then we're opening up our chest. Left arm is extended up tall, and we're gazing up at the ceiling. This is called extended side angle pose. Yet another pose you'll see in our flow sequence. And then inhale back into Warrior Two. And then we're going to cartwheel our hands down on our exhale. And we're coming back into that runner's lunge. So we're going to move slowly, and then we'll step back into downward facing dog. Okay, I'm going to switch sides here. So from our downward facing dog, we're going to do those same poses on the other side. So on our inhale, we'll lift our left leg up to three-legged dog. So our left foot is flexed, like hip level. And then exhale, left foot steps through. In between our hands to our runner's lunge. So remember, your blocks for books are an option to support your hands. So we're going to do that gentle flow. So inhale, straighten that left leg to wide-legged pyramid, forehead towards left shin. Exhale into runner's lunge. And just keep moving front to back at your own pace. And if this is, I forgot to mention on the other side, if this is uncomfortable, you can always drop that back knee and modify through a low lunge and half splits variation. And then on our next exhale, back into runner's lunge. Inhale, reach up into crescent lunge. Try to make sure hips are square. Left leg still at that 90-degree angle. We're pressing into the right ball of our foot, lifting. And just keep your breath. And then our next exhale, let's open it up to our Warrior Two. Make sure your right foot is parallel to the back foot of the mat. Left leg's at that 90-degree angle. Hips are square, tailbone slightly tucked under. Tee out your arms, gaze over your left hand for Warrior Two. And then on our next inhale, we'll reach forward with that left arm, flip our left palm, sweep our left arm above our head, taking a side stretch, feeling our left side with a gentle stretch. Right arm either by your side or binded behind you, gaze up at our hand. And then on our next exhale, tee out your arms and then side stretch the other way. So it's left arm, inner left thigh, and then opening up our chest, right arm as tall for extended side angle. And then inhale back into warrior two. And then exhale, let's cartwheel our hands down into that runner's lunge. And then step back into downward facing dog. And then from our downward facing dog, let's lower our knees down and take a child's pose. So you can take knees wide, big toes to touch, or knees together. Yogi's choice, as I always say. Just extend those arms forward, forehead to the mat, and just keep breathing. Now let's walk our hands off to the right. Your side stretch. And then walk our hands off to the other side. And then hands back to center, child's pose. And then let's walk your hands back into tabletop first. We're gonna make our way back up into downward facing dog. So let's tuck our toes under, lift our hips up for downward facing dog. And then from here, let's slowly walk our way up to the top of the mat, to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale with a flat back, rise up, high mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're gonna do some standing poses here, some gentle movements. So we'll start off in our mountain pose, feet hip distance apart. Let's put our hands on our hips. And then we're gonna do hip circles. So you can circle any direction first. So it's kind of like a hula hoop motion. Just a gentle hip motion. And let's reverse. And then back to center. And then from here, let's lift our arms up and place the palms of our hands on top of our shoulders. So we're gonna do elbow circles. So to the front for 1, 2, 3, and then reverse for 1, 2, 3. Well, let's release. And then from here, we did tree pose in the last class, so we'll do it again. So to get into tree pose, make sure your feet are hip distance apart. You're in that mountain pose with that long spine. So we'll start to shift weight into our right foot. And you have 3 options. You can create a little kickstand. So your left heel can touch your right ankle, or you can take your left foot to right inner thigh or to calf. Avoid the knee. I personally like the inner calf one. So you can have your arms right by your side. Bring hands to heart center. Or you can grow your branches with your arms out tall. And focus on a non-moving object. And if you fall out, that's okay. We just get back up and try again. And I said last time, it's a yoga practice. We'll take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out, releasing our arms first, and then slowly releasing our left foot. Let's shake it out. Now we'll do the left side, finding our mountain pose, start to shift weight into our left foot, and taking any variation on this side, because we're not symmetrical. So one option might work better for you on this side. So remember, kickstand, inner thigh or inner calf, avoiding the knee, and any arm variation that you'd like. Take a couple more rounds of breath. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out. Slowly releasing our arms first, and then slowly releasing our foot. Let's shake it out. So we'll make our way back to the mat. So let's walk our way to the top of the mat in our mountain pose. Inhale, sweep our arms up tall, high mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, feet step back, downward facing dog. And then let's lower knees to tabletop. And then let's take a seat. Your legs are extended in front of you. So we're gonna make sure you're facing me when you're doing this. So we're gonna do some stretches in this, like some stretches, like side stretches and forward folds and twists. So from here, let's open up our right leg to the side and then taking our left foot to our inner right thigh, grounding into our sit bones. And then on our inhale, sweep our arms up tall. And then on our exhale, we'll take a turn towards the right and then fold towards your right leg. So you can have your hands on your leg or feet. It's just depending on what your on your comfort. Just make sure you don't force it. Once you feel the stretch, you're okay. And then inhale, rise up, back to center. So we're still up tall with our arms. And then on our next exhale, we'll take a side stretch to the right, opening up our chest, and our left arm is sweeping above our head. You can grab the outside of your foot or ankle, shin, just making sure your chest is open. And then inhale, rise up. Exhale, release our arms. Let's switch legs. So we'll extend out our left leg and right foot on inner left thigh. Grounding into our sit bones. Inhale, sweep our arms up tall. Exhale, turn to the left and then fold towards that left leg. And then inhale, rise up to center, keeping our arms up tall. And then exhale, side bend towards the left. Making sure that our right arm is sweeping above your head, opening up, making sure your chest is opening up. Maintaining your breath. And And then inhale, rise up tall. Exhale, release. Let's bring both legs together. And our both feet are flexed. So on this variation, we're going to take, we're going to bend our right leg. So our right foot is right next to our left knee. Grounding into our sit bones. So we're going to sweep our right arm above and then sweep it behind us. And then we'll lift up our left arm and then take that twist towards the right. So we're gonna bring our right elbow to the outside of our left knee, or you can extend your arm or wrap your arm around your leg. And you wanna gaze over your right shoulder for a twist. You wanna make sure you're grounded into your sit bones. And just maintain your breath, tall spine. And then inhale, unwind, arms up tall. Exhale, release arms and your leg. Let's switch sides. So let's bend our left knee, left foot right by our right knee. And then let's sweep our left arm up above and then behind us, placing our hand behind us. That would be our left hand behind us. And then rising up our right arm and then taking a twist towards the left. So you remember you can do the elbow variation, extending your arm out or wrap your arm around your leg and then gazing over your left shoulder for your twist. And then inhale, unwind, arms up tall. Exhale, release your leg and your arm. So let's ground into our sit bones. We're going to inhale, sweep our arms up tall. And then exhale, hinge at your hips for a fold. You can place your hands at your ankles, grabbing the outsides of your feet. Or you can take a gentle fold or just halfway up. That's always variation. Another nice variation is just placing your feet on the mat and then you have your knees bent and then folding. That's another gentle variation. Just kind of figure out what works best for your body. And then inhale, rise up tall. Exhale, release your arms. Let's find our way to our mat. Let's lower our back down. Feet flat on the mat. Let's hug our right knee into chest, left leg extends. And let's move our right knee from side to side. Or you can draw little circles with your knee. It's a really nice, gentle hip stretch. You can reverse your circles. And then back to center. So our next one is going to be half happy baby. So a good way to get into this variation, so you can bend your left knee, left foot flat on the floor. And then we'll lift our right leg, grabbing the outside of your right foot or your ankle or behind your knee. So you want to guide your right knee towards your right armpit, grounding your spine into the mat and your hip. You can extend that left leg out again if that feels all right to you. And then our next exhale, let's release our right foot back to the mat. And then let's bring left knee into chest, extending our right leg out in front of us. And then you can move your left knee from side to side or draw little circles with your knee. And then you can reverse the circles. And then let's move into happy baby on this side. So you can bring your right foot, bend your right knee and bring your right foot on the mat. Bringing your left leg up, grabbing the outside of your left foot, ankle, or the back of your knee, guiding your left knee towards your left armpit, grounding your spine into the mat. And then let's release. Both feet flat on the floor. So from here, we're going to do a gentle boat pose. So I'll get more into that next week with the full variation. So from here, let's come up to our forearms, feet flat on the floor. And then from here, we want to bring our legs up to like a tabletop with your shins. Feet are flexed. This is a good place to stay. Or you can straighten your legs. And we'll hold here, keep breathing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll lower our feet and then lower our spine down, one vertebra at a time. And let's hug our knees into chest, rocking from side to side. And then from here, let's tee out our arms and then guide. So let's create that little tabletop with our shins, feet flex, and then guiding our knees to the right for our supine twist. Gaze can be up or to the left. And then inhale back to center. And then supine twist to the left. So with the knees to the left, gaze to the right or up at the ceiling. And then knees back to center. Hugging our knees into chest. Let's release our feet. Our last pose before Shavasana is called waterfall pose. Waterfall pose. So you can, if you have a yoga block or a folded up blanket, if you don't have any props available, it's okay. Just skip the prop part. So to get into it, you want to press into your feet, lifting our hips up off of the mat, placing your blocker blanket or pillow if you have available underneath your sacrum. And then you'll lift your feet up towards the ceiling. So you want to straighten your legs, feet are flexed. So this is a gentle inversion. Arms by your side. Take a few breaths here. Take one more inhale in, filling up, and then exhaling out, slowly lowering your feet flat to the mat. Press into your feet, lift your hips up, placing your prop aside, lowering your spine down one vertebra at a time. Let's hug our knees into chest, rocking side to side. And then from here, let's find our way into our final resting pose, Shavasana, extending our legs out long, or you can keep your knees bent with feet flat on the floor, arms by your side. You can take a fetal position or Shavasana on your belly, if that's more comfortable to you. So just ground into your final rest, resting your eyes, and doing one last body scan from the crown of your head, down through your neck and shoulders, your arms, hands, down through your back and hips, legs, and feet. So today's meditation reading is out of the Journey to the Heart book again from Melody Beattie. And today's reading is called Discover Your Own Truth. No truth is ours until we make it our own. All the truths in the world don't matter unless and until we discover them to be true for ourselves. That's what a journey is about. An insight, a lesson, a new belief is at the end of each adventure, whether that adventure happens in a moment, an hour, a day, or a year. This lesson doesn't come from books, although books might help along the way. It doesn't come from classes or lectures or well-meaning friends. The lesson we're seeking comes from inside of us, from our hearts, from deep abiding connection to our consciousness and the truth. It springs quietly from within as we notice one day that we believe something new, something different, something more free, more fun, and more life-enhancing than what we believed before. For a moment, we may turn back and say, why didn't I know that? Why didn't I see that before? Then we step back on our path, laugh, and go on our way, understanding that is why we are really here. Not to know everything in advance, but to allow ourselves to go freely through the lessons that teach us all we came here to learn. You are on a journey of discovery. Find out what isn't true, and find out what's true for you. Remember, a truth isn't yours until it rings true for you. Just continue to stay in your final rest and breathe, and I'll guide you out. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. And slowly transition to a fetal position on the right or left side, using your arm, a block, or a blanket as a pillow, or a pillow. And spend a few moments in a fetal position. And then when you're ready, slowly transition back up into a comfortable seat, cross-legged, grounding into our sit bones. Take your time. And once you're in your seat, we'll do one last breath together, cleansing breath together. So inhale, sweep our arms up tall. And then exhale, bring our hands to heart center. Our thumbs touching our sternum. Thank you for a great first full class today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. So thank you for participating today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have questions, let me know. I'll stick around for a little bit.